Legend tells us that after the Romans withdrew from the land they called Britannia, the people desperately wanted to rule and govern themselves. But there were many who had an unquenchable thirst for power. Tribes would fight against each other. War chiefs would play the Game of Thrones to gain more power and territory. Men were constantly calling themselves king. The land was wrought with strife. Eventually, it is said, a man named Uther Pendragon became the king of all Britain. When Uther was about to be crowned king, he ordered a great feast. He invited all of the most powerful and prestigious nobles to attend, including the Duke of Cornwall. The Duke and Uther had a precarious relationship. The men had often been at odds and warred with each other. But still, the Duke came, and with him, his wife, the Lady Igraine. Igraine was said to have been an incredibly fair and beautiful woman. The moment Uther laid eyes on the Lady Igraine, he was smitten. Uther became infatuated and began trying to seduce Igraine. He asked that she might lay with him. Igraine, the legend tells us, was an honorable woman and told the king no, as she was a married woman. Igraine went to her husband and told him what happened and asked to go back home to Cornwall. The Duke and Igraine left immediately without asking leave of the king. Knowing the king would be furious, the Duke had Igraine sent to their impregnable castle at Tintagel, while he went and took his army to another nearby castle. Uther was indeed enraged and called his men to hunt down the Duke and his wife and bring them back. The Duke refused to comply. Uther and his army descended on Cornwall and laid siege to the castle where the Duke and his army were waiting. Uther was filled with the rage of war, and the lust he had for Igraine grew even stronger. All he could think of was having the Duke's wife. Igraine still was safely inside Tintagel Castle, and there was absolutely no way to reach her. So Uther decided to enlist the help of the legendary wizard, Merlin. Merlin told the king there was a way. He would have to take a magic potion that would change Uther's appearance to that of the Duke. Uther was willing to do anything, and so took the potion, as did Merlin and one of Uther's men. All were transformed and looked exactly like the Duke and the Duke's companions. The men went to Tintagel, and without even the tiniest bit of difficulty, entered. Uther rushed to find the Lady Igraine. He told her, pretending to be the Duke, that he had come from the other castle that was besieged to make sure that she was still safe. He kissed and caressed her and told her how much he loved her. Igraine, believing completely that it was her husband, made love to Uther. It is said that this was the night at Tintagel that Igraine conceived Arthur, who would become the most renowned of men. The stronghold from around the 5th to 7th century that was on this site is long gone. But the legend of Arthur and his conception here, with the assistance of Merlin, inspired another to build a castle here in the early 1200s. The remains of that castle are now under the care of the charity English Heritage.